Hello and welcome. I'm Tamsin Young, and today I'm going to do a review on the book Sacred Success by Barbara Stanny. She's now called Barbara Hudson, but this is the book on money that I would like to have written. This is the most beautiful book ever, as far as I'm concerned. And she calls it A Course in Financial Miracles. And it's really more than being about money. It's about creating an abundant life whilst living a more meaningful life. So it's not just about how much money can you make. It's how much money, it's the money you make while you're living the life of your dreams, while you're being guided by your soul's desires. She talks about her story. So she was born to the father who was the R in H&R Block. But even though he had all that knowledge, she grew up financially illiterate. He didn't want any of his girls worrying about anything, and she totally trusted her father. So she more than likely had a pretty charmed life growing up. And she then married, and she transferred this trust that she had with her father to her husband. And that was one of her biggest downfalls, in that he eventually got into gambling, and after many experiences, putting her blinders on, ignoring what was happening in her life, she eventually had to see the writing on the wall, and they got divorced. But unfortunately, she was left with all his debt. It was more than $1 million in back taxes and a whole lot of illegal deals that he had got them into. Unfortunately, she made one of the biggest mistakes that women make and just signed blindly on pieces of documents that her husband had given her, totally trusting that everything was in order. And there's no such thing as an innocent spouse. You cannot claim innocence when you've signed a document. There is the presumption that you know what you are signing. And if you don't know what you're signing, make sure that you find out about it. So she then had to go on a journey where she had to educate herself about money and start taking responsibility for herself and for her financial position. And she makes a comment about, if you don't deal with your money will deal with you. And money is one way that we can have all our stories, all our beliefs, all our fears brought up. And this book is a journey that helps you face those things, deal with those issues, and to create that change. So her financial education became a spiritual journey. And she describes this journey in another book that she wrote, Prince Charming Isn't Coming, where she talks about the outer work of wealth, which is learning the mechanics of money and that practical money management side of things, and the inner work of wealth, which is overcoming the emotional blocks, our mindset, and all that other work, the more energetic side of things. And this totally sums up my approach to money, that it is a two-pronged thing. I like to look at it as the yin and yang of money. Now, the one side is the more receptive side, our energetic side, and the other side is the more masculine side, which is the money management. It's the practical side of looking after money. And as Deepak Chakra said, we need a more spiritual approach to success and to affluence. Prosperity is a byproduct of self-love, self-worth, and self-respect. So this is an inner journey. This is about changing how we regard ourselves, how we regard what we've got to offer the world, and how we love ourselves. And the essence of sacred success is about power. And we, as women, we limit our power by lowering our earning potential, or by mishandling, neglecting, or ignoring our money. And that is absolutely crucial to get to grips with. We have the responsibility to create change in our lives. We are the ones who need to take action and create a difference in the world. It's going to come from us. We need to step up and take that responsibility. And this book is all about the rite of passage for women into their power. And it's taking women from this place of dependency, of being dependent on your parent and then becoming dependent on your husband, believing in the story of Prince Charming, our knight in shining armor, whoever we want to think it is that's going to come along on their horse and rescue and save us. moving from that to autonomy, to being responsible, becoming a responsible adult, no longer being a child, no longer believing that we have to look to somebody else to be responsible for us. We can actually have an equal relationship with somebody else with regards to our money. We don't have to look to them as our source. So her purpose in writing the book is threefold. Her first part is revealing the feminine face of power. And this is where she encourages us to aim higher, staying true to ourselves, and getting us to look and see the impact that we can have in the world and the legacy that we wish to leave. So it's not just about creating wealth and more money. Now, how much money is enough? But what can we do with that money in our lives and in the lives of others? And how can we impact generations to come by doing something, one, by being an inspiration and creating that change in our lives and becoming powerful women, and also by that they can see what's possible, but also allowing opportunities for people who may be more disadvantaged and can't access certain resources. And this book then guides you through this rite of passage. She gives you exercises, practical exercises, and also visualizations. And she asks the question that was her guide: are you ready yet to save the world? And this is her essence of a powerful woman. And I don't believe this is to be taken that we have to be the saviors of the world and go out and save everybody. We're not here in a rescuer mode, but by being powerful, we are going to create that change which will save the world. And for her, a powerful woman is one who knows who they are. They express that in the world, and they're not afraid to express it. They're willing to speak up. They don't bite back what they want to say and think, oh, this isn't the right place. This isn't for me to talk about that, or I don't want to create any waves or anything like that. They're willing to get uncomfortable and say what they believe. And they do what they fear instead of staying where it's safe. And it's easy to be held back by our fears. We all are. We all have those fears, and it's overcoming those fears to be able to create that life that we want. And it's becoming financially responsible and economically independent. This is really the essence of what it's all about, because by doing that, we can create the change. And she sums it up with a quote from Bella Abzug, who was a New York congresswoman. And she said, in the 21st century, women will change the nature of power rather than power changing the nature of women. And I think this is a really important aspect to remember as well. We often have a bad connotation of what being powerful means and power, because we see it from a very masculine point of view. We see the way power can be abused in the world, how it becomes a very physical thing. Weapons, fighting, war, that can be a way that power is expressed. There are other ways that we can use power, and it's up to us as women to bring our sense of power, our true sense of power, to the forebeing, that we can change the nature of power, and that we don't feel that we have to become like men. Back in the 80s, when women were trying to rise in the corporate world, we tried to dress like men, we tried to look like men, we tried to be like men. We don't have to. There's nothing wrong with men, but we can bring our own essence, our own sense of being into the world, and we can create power through that, by being true to ourselves, by blending that masculine side with that feminine side. It's not one side or the other. It's a beautiful blend of one and the other together. So I really encourage you to get this book, to read it. It is the most beautifully written book, and the essence of it is just so powerful, and it can create an incredible change for you if you're willing to do the exercises and to really apply those principles in your life, and to combine that inner and that outer journey of money. You can really create a change in your life. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you read it. And if you do read it, let me know what you think of it, and let me know what impact it's made in your life as well. Thank you.